So I'd like to talk about visualization of this data, but not in the control room and not at your PC, but for the field operator who has to work out in the plant, often perform all kinds of maintenance and manual tasks which require the use of their hands, require the use of safety equipment. RealWear is an industrial wearable manufacturer. We make the world's first head-mounted tablet, which you see attached to this MSA hard hat. And we're going to show you an architecture for how one can visualize data from PiVision, formerly known as CoreSight, if I can say that, using a wearable. And I'm going to try and do a live demo. So firstly, the scenario, the Devil's Canyon Brewery, which is in San Carlos, California, about 30 miles from here. It's a craft brewery, has 18 fermenters, makes really great beer. And their process, like all breweries, is a batch process. So this is what they have prior to us coming in with Pi System and National Instruments. They had unconnected programmable logic controllers measuring temperatures and set points on 18 fermentation tanks. They had a manual logging procedure for specific gravity measurements, critical measurement in the fermentation of beer. They transferred those manual logs to a binder. Once in a while, they typed them into a spreadsheet on a PC, and that was their analytics. Not exactly real time, worked, but has some limitations when you try and scale up production. And so we came along and we instrumented, together with National Instruments' help, using the Compact Rio platform, a number of the fermentation tanks. In fact, this fermentation tank on this banner is about half size of the real one that's 35 miles away in San Carlos. This is fermentation tank number 6 out of 18 in the brewery. There's a thermocouple and a few other sensors, CO2 and pressure CO2 sensors in there as well. Goes into the Compact Rio platform. That is then connected through the cloud to the Pi system and the PiVision server. And we are going to view some of that data on this wearable device, the RealWear HMT-1 or head-mounted tablet. So if I can move to the demo, please. So you are seeing on the projector what I am seeing in my micro display. It looks to me like a 7-inch tablet about arm's length away. It's, as you can see, quite detailed. This entire device is hands-free, so I've re-enabled the voice recognition, and I will now start up CoreSight. My programs. CoreSight. It's a little app that's going to visualize CoreSight data for us. Okay, now it's looking for a QR code to log me in. There's one on that tank, in the real tank in the brewery, and there's also one on this picture of the tank. Let me go and scan that. Got the tank. We've got an error there. Here it comes. Okay, so what you're seeing now is live data from this brewery tank, from this fermentation tank. You see CO2 pressure. You see specific gravity. That was a manually entered measurement because it's a manual procedure, but the data is in Pi system. And you see the current live temperature of 32.877 degrees Fahrenheit off fermentation tank number 6. This is live data. Show temperature graph. So now what we're seeing is a visualization that is actually hosted on PiVision, and we're looking at a web object that was built by PiVision that's now encapsulated in this native Android application, which has full hands-free voice control. I haven't had to swipe or use any gestures or use my hands at all. This is the 5-day history of that thermocouple on tank number 6. It shows that beer was brewing quite happily until it reached a certain point in its fermentation, and then they crash the temperature by using a glycol chiller. Takes a few hours to get down to 32 Fahrenheit, where it has now stayed until they're ready to go ahead and bottle it. And I can go back to show gauges. As you can see, it's entirely hands-free and voice-driven. Okay, so there's something else I can do with this system as well. And so what I'm going to do is go back to the home screen, navigate home, my files, and scan bookmark. There's another QR code on this tank up here. Go look at that one. Accept. Okay, so that actually brought up from the cloud an engineering drawing of this fermentation tank. So we've contextualized this asset, which is a live asset, not only with live data visualized in CoreSight, but with other data about the asset, in this case, the mechanical drawing of this exact tank. Zoom level 3. Zoom level 3. Control document. And I can look around this and look at the detail of the drawing if I want, find the exact feature that I need to look at, freeze document, and now I can do my task with my hands free, perhaps maintain this tank, perhaps change a fitting, do whatever I need to do. Navigate home. If we can go back to the slides, please. So the second demo that you saw, by the way, I'm just going to easily move this out of the way. It's one of the best features. The second demo you saw was scanning this bookmark, which is associated with metadata in our cloud, which associates where that document is in the cloud, including its page number, zoom level, coordinates, so that I get just the right framing. And in just a few seconds from scanning the physical asset, I can see the actual data. And indeed, this service goes nicely alongside the other data we get in CoreSight. So a little bit about the product. Let me just mute it. Mute microphone. There we go. So it is a full Android tablet, a very powerful Qualcomm-based system with an 8-core processor. It's rugged, 2-meter drop test, IP66, fully dustproof and waterproof. There is an intrinsically safe model that will also come out later in the year, which is a full FM C1D1 ATEX Zone 1 product. And it has a full shift or 8-hour battery life. It can also do video streaming for remote assistance for technicians, data entry, work instructions, all manner of applications that you could run on any full-featured, recent, fully powered Android tablet, but totally hands-free. And so if we refer back to what was done there at the Devil's Canyon Brewery, they were able to actually take the data, the manual process, and by connecting it to the cloud using data in Pi system, we're able to actually get more real-time analytics, actually visualize those analytics and the key steps in the process in real time. And so each brewer operator can know what the next step is as they are in the operating brewery, which is a wet and chemical environment. There are things like text alerts, which will alert the head brewer when the next step should occur, when the temperature needs to be changed, when something needs to be added to the recipe. As a result, these tanks don't sit idle with finished beer in them, nor do they risk spoiling a batch. So they get better asset utilization. And also, they get a lot more productivity out of the workforce. So as the volume of the business grows, which it is, they can actually make their existing operators more efficient, more productive, and hands-free, so they can increase capacity without having to hire more people. So I hope you can see how visualization on industrial wearables can bring a new dimension to the data that we see in Pi Vision. Thank you.